For those of you who don't know, Transformers Animated is like Marmite. You love it or you hate it. And I just want to use this kind of pre-video ramble bit to talk about what this video is trying to accomplish. I just want to talk about Transformers Animated and why I love it. Okay, I'll only primarily stick to things in Season 1 without spoiling much, and I just want to talk about the voice actors, the cast, the general tone of the show, the toys, you know, everything that makes me enjoy this kind of show as a whole. I hope you enjoy. Right, I ain't even gonna mess around, I'm gonna get straight to it, okay? Transformers Animated is bloody brilliant, okay? It is by far my favourite Transformers show. Prime has nothing on this show to me. I don't want to rant about Prime, never mind. Right, this was birthed, okay? This show, okay, was birthed as the creation of Sam Register, Mark Youngberg, and Derek J. Wyatt. Also the art director, which is very integral to this show's success and the kind of longevity of both it and the toys. Now, this is one of the most popular things within the Transformers IP, alongside Transformers Prime, Transformers Generation 1, or the 80s cartoon just called The Transformers, and then the Cybertron games, War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron. These are all beloved, but Animated is my favourite. So moving on to the voice cast, which is the main thing that Transformers Animated kind of contributes, okay? It's not the only thing, but in my opinion, it's very important to actually making the show work. David Kaye voices Optimus Prime and Lugnut. David Kaye is better known as Beast Wars Megatron. He is also one of the only voice actors to have both played Optimus Prime and Megatron in a major capacity, right? So there you go. They brought back Corey Burton, known for being Shockwave in G1. They brought him back to play Ratchet, Megatron, and Shockwave. All three very distinct characters that he plays. Just a phenomenal thing to add to his resume, really. Like, his roles in this show are brilliant. Then we have Tom Kenny, known for playing SpongeBob and looking like every other just average middle-aged white dad in America, right? His words, not mine. But here he's playing Starscream, the conniving Decepticon, second in command, really, and he's absolutely brilliant in this show. Following Tom Kenny wherever he goes is Bill Fagerbakke, and Bill plays Bulkhead. Here we have Jim Bonnet, who plays Prowl. Oh mama. Then we have Bumper Robinson playing Bumblebee and Blitzwing. Brilliant stuff. I absolutely love his performance in this show. Blitzwing has like 3 voices attached to him anyway, given the fact that he's got the multiple personalities. He's got the German voice, which is like his normal talking voice. He's got the "keep your name out of my mouth." No, it's not quite Arnold. The second voice is, anyway, a little less Arnold. But the third voice is like a very exaggerated version of the first one, where he's like, "The itsy bitsy spider climbed up the water spout." You know, it's very, very jovial. It's crazy. That's what it is. And Bumblebee is just a joy in this show. Then we have Cree Summer playing Black Arachnia. Nothing much to say about this one besides the fact it's a very strong and notable performance. Then finally we have Tara Strong. Tara Strong has hundreds, if not just hundreds, of voice acting credits to her name, playing male and female characters. Typically, if she plays a male character as a young boy or whatever, but look, Tara Strong has been in so many things, and she plays Sari Sundak, the main human character within the show, and Sari is my favourite human in, like, anything Transformers related. It's just, she doesn't tick me off like some of the other humans in, say, something like Prime does. But regardless, no rambling here. So when I was recording this initially, I really had this difficulty trying to find a way to make this a video about telling you why I love Animated amongst all of its qualities, and then finding a way to not let that turn into a kind of a hate crime towards things I don't like, right? And me telling you, oh yeah, Animated is better for me because of this, and this. Because I really started on the initial recording of this, I was really going off on Transformers Prime, and I don't want to make this a hit piece on Transformers Prime. However, Transformers Prime could be something I'll talk about in the future. But leading off from that whole thing, I just want to talk about the characterization of these characters, because it's kind of this ragtag group of heroes, and you go, they all seem like a fairly normal bunch to me. But it's the way all the characters complement each other, and the way these voice actors bring these characters to life, right? So Optimus Prime, he's going through the kind of Rodimus phase from G1, where he's not quite used to leadership, but he's not got these confidence issues. He is like born to be a leader. He's just not there yet. He's still growing as a character, right? So at the start of the show and even a bit later into it, he's still prone to these heroic ramblings, but he's a very skilled and caring guy when it comes down to it. That's what matters, right? He is a good leader for the team. Ratchet, he's a grumpy old sod. He's the experienced guy there that's meant to be supervising the whole space bridge repair team at the start of the show, but that kind of falls off quick, because even though he's the one with all the knowledge and experience, Optimus Prime is the leader here. Bulkhead, he's your bumbling comic relief character, brilliantly portrayed by a guy who plays a bumbling comic relief character. It just makes too much sense. Bumblebee is your kind of sidekick to Bulkhead. Him and Bulkhead in this show are really good friends. They kind of went through the Autobot Elite Guard Academy together or whatever, and they both serve as really good comedy relief while still having their functions aside from that on the core team. And then finally we get to Prowl. Prowl is your brooding lone wolf character. Now, I think every good team has one person that kind of just doesn't fit in with everyone else, but eventually they'll come around, right? And later on in the show, it kind of does become really important that Prowl has developed as a character, and there are some key plot points that specifically involve him. But I'm not going to spoil that. So, yeah, the character cast is absolutely phenomenal. Specifically the Autobots here. We'll get onto the Decepticons, but the characters there are brilliant. The Decepticons, by comparison, have Megatron. Now, he's out of commission for quite a while, okay? Following Starscream's betrayal in the very first episode. I'm so happy this show didn't faff around with Starscream's kind of cunning, and they just made it so Megatron knows he's not to be trusted from day one, right? This show sets that in stone immediately. It's bloody brilliant. No other Transformer show does it. But the Decepticons, so Megatron's this bloody menacing threat. He's bigger than all the Autobots. He could take down all the Autobots. He attacks their ship single-handedly in the first episode and absolutely whoops their asses. Now, you could argue that something like that happens because of the team's inexperience working as a team. However, it does go to show just how strong Megatron is by himself in this series, which is good. You want the big bad to feel like a big bad, right? You know, that's the whole thing here. And really, that's all I could ask. It's something the show does well. Moving on to Starscream, portrayed by Tom Kenny, absolutely brilliant, because Starscream's always been a somewhat comedic character for the bad guys, you know. He's a bit bumbling, he's cunning, he's actually he's a very strategic guy, kind of. It really depends on the incarnation of the character, but he knows how to get what he wants. Tom Kenny is a voice actor most well known for playing a funny yellow sponge, okay? He's been playing that character for 20-something years at this point, and he still does a phenomenal job playing this evil comedic character in Starscream. So he adds a lot to the show too. Then we get to Lugnut. Lugnut is your blind loyalist. He's a very important part of the Decepticon team because he's their bulkhead in the sense that he's kind of a comedic relief character, but he's strong as hell, alright? And he can just wreck stuff in the name of Lord Megatron, you know, he's all for it. Anyway, don't mind the voice. That's if I was Lugnut, it sounds stupid. But yeah, man, that's just so good to me. I love Lugnut and his kind of whole thing that he has going on. And then finally, Blitzwing. Now, we will talk about Black Arachne briefly, but she's the least important of the Decepticon cast. Now, Blitzwing has multiple personalities. It makes him kind of a more of a threat to deal with, you know. He's this strategic guy, normally. Then he gets angry, and then he goes insane, right? And this was a result of his kind of conversion to being a triple changer, right? And yeah, it's perfectly fine in my opinion, you know. I can't say an awful lot about Blitzwing. He's got a really good toy. We'll talk about those shortly. But moving on from Dale, we have Black Arachnia now. Without spoiling too much, she is in the show for a good chunk of it, but you don't really know how she came to be, why she's on the Decepticon team, what involvement she has with anyone else, until they eventually cover that in a flashback or two. And, you know, without spoiling anything, she's got this cool little backstory. It's very unique to Transformers Animated. I don't know if I'm all for it, considering the fact it kind of merges two previously established characters from two different continuities. It kind of says, oh yeah, this one, you know, kind of same person, but whatever. You know what though, I respect this show's boldness for trying. I respect this show's boldness for trying a lot of different things, like with the Villain of the Week formula. Like, you got this Robin Hood character, which I'm currently showing on screen. He's just a small part of Season 1. There's a whole load of Season 1 episodes where it's just them interacting with the humans and doing random stuff like catching supervillains. It's really weird for a Transformers show, but it's also why I enjoy this so much. It just does so many things differently, and it doesn't take itself seriously. It's very much a case of I can enjoy it because it doesn't take itself seriously. Like, I'm not watching Transformers because I care about, like, everything being on point and every character being dead serious all the time. You know, it's not like a Bayverse movie where it's just guns, military, car explosions. You know, it's not a train wreck like that, even though I do enjoy the first 3 Bay movies to varying degrees. But Transformers Animated is a tonal shift completely. And from there, you know, what better to talk about than these amazing toys? Because first of all, we're just going to talk about the ones I own. Transformers Animated's Deluxe Ratchet, Lockdown, Bumblebee, Sentinel Prime, the Safeguard Duo, Jetstorm, and what's the other one? Jetfire. Right, those all brilliant toys. I'll show them on screen. Maybe I'll even cut to some footage in editing, but we'll just leave them on screen for now. All of those are brilliant. And then I have some of the Voyagers. I have Lugna and Blitzwing, which kind of brings me to mentioning when Blitzwing had a really good toy. Now, what these toys excel at is being screen accurate. Editor's note, I don't really care about screen accuracy, as I kind of mentioned in my last video essay about Transformers and the over-reliance on G1, you know, with the toys sucking a little bit. But this show and the toys being screen accurate is very important to actually capturing the essence of the show, you know. The toys capture the art style perfectly. That's what I'm praising here. Yes, the scale was a little bit all over the place. Bumblebee is too tall, and I don't have a completed lineup of the main cast to really show you the scaling issues, but Bumblebee is too tall. That's what I can tell you. Sentinel Prime, who I have, he might also be too small. But they are really good toys regardless. They're screen accurate, they have engaging transformations, they have alt modes that look the part. They weren't expensive, bearing in mind they came out in a time when like Deluxes were like a tenner, Voyagers were 20, Leaders were 35, 40 pounds. Bearing in mind though, this toy line only had 2 Leader class figures in the main toy line. And also Prowl, he exists. He's got 2 really good toys, one of which is really goddamn rare, the Samurai Prowl figure, which I won't get into the context regarding that toy because that would spoil part of the show, but hey, there you go, it exists. Do whatever, you know. If you've not watched Transformers Animated, please go and watch Transformers Animated. So in short, to kind of wrap this up, just to kind of clarify my core reasons for actually enjoying this show: the characters, the voice cast, the tone, the art style. Don't even talk about the art style too much. I don't hate the designs, bearing in mind, you know, a lot of people complain about Chintimus Prime, that's what they call him, you know, being Optimus. They complain about Sentinel's chin. They complain about the general cartoon aesthetic of the show. All of these are things I enjoy, okay? It's very different. The show has such a unique feel, such a unique tone. It does all of these different things with the characters that other shows don't do. And the humans, I like the humans in this show. They're just a breath of fresh air because Sari, the main human, she's cool. Her dad, he's got his own little story going on. And then the last major human character was Captain Fanzone, and he's kind of this bumbling character, comic relief human guy, but he also kind of he's strong in his characterization, you know, he doesn't really trust the Autobots or whatever, and eventually he'll come around to him. But, you know, that is a very important dynamic that this show establishes very early on with the introduction of Captain Fanzone, right? All that to say, I like the characters in Transformers Animated too. There is nothing this show does particularly wrong for me, you know, there's the whole art style thing that people go on about, and chins and all that, but I'm cool with it. And I am thankful for Derek J. Wyatt, Sam Register and Mark Youngberg for bringing this show to life. And yes, that is all. Transformers Animated is my favourite Transformers show. Likely this will never change at the rate Hasbro is going, but thank you for watching and goodbye.